All right, welcome back. Now, I took the first live stream or the original live stream down. I could have gotten in trouble, and you know, I was a little too hardcore. I was a little too excited. And I want to just say to Keisha, collectively, y'all are full of a bunch of unhealthy hatred. Y'all are so full of hatred, unhealthy, unwarranted hatred for black men. Okay? That's an issue that y'all need to, deal with on your own. But the problem is, too many black men subject themselves to it, they put up with it, and they end up paying the price. But whether they're with a black man or not, they stay attacking our image. Whatever level of platform that they create, Keishas will always use their platform to degrade black men, attack our image. They have not ceased their attack on our image, really, since they've accepted Section 8 and welfare. It was shortly after they broke up black families that they started to frequent these platforms. This is before the internet. Frequent these major platforms like Oprah, massive platform, and air these lies about black men. And all black men have been doing is debunking those lies. That's all we've been doing. We've been calling them out as lies, and we've been attacked for defending ourselves. We've been accused of bashing black women by simply defending ourselves and debunking these lies. They're the ones who are attacking us. And they're so manipulative and unwilling to hold themselves accountable. That is how they, duck the smoke. You're bashing us. And it's all nonsense. Now, on this video, I've mentioned that this CDC report that says that black men, y'all know what it says. And I got upset with Tariq for misquoting it, for giving the incorrect interpretation or definition of the CDC study. I thought that was a major failure on his part, because he used it to say that black fathers are the most active fathers, period. When the study, all it said was that the fathers who are active, black men, are more involved in their kids' lives. They spend more time with their kids doing different things like homework and things like that. Black men simply spent more time with their kids, or spend more time with their kids. That's all it was saying. And a lot of FBA talking heads tried to twist it into saying that, hey, look, black fathers are the most involved. Well, I told you, Tariq, that your own stomped down FBA certified sisters was going to call you out who's going to call out the fact that's a lie, that's a misinterpretation. And that the black men who regurgitate that as you give it, regurgitate the incorrect definition of the report, they're going to sound dumb. And that ultimately, this is a regression. This is not a win for black men or black fathers when you accept the lie. Now let's get into it.
Black fathers are more active in their kid lives than any other race, especially whites.
See? And you know what? I believe that this is what these FBA talking heads want. They want black men to go out and regurgitate it exactly the way he did. Like I said on the other stream, y'all know full well there are a bunch of black men, sadly, who don't think for themselves. They're not that sharp. You know full well that there are a lot of them who gonna go around and repeat exactly what you said. Just like this dude here did. Like I said, you made yourself and other black men vulnerable.
So where's this narrative come from where black people leaving their kids and things like that? Well, that is just a lie. Just like Charlie Kirk lied on us about black on black crime and we are the reason why America has so much crime. That is another lie. Let's stop the lies and bring up facts when you say something.
This dude sounds slow. Let's be honest. He sounds slow. He sounds like he's just regurgitating something he heard somebody else say it. Lord, just because you got a phone and recording device don't mean that you need to be recording yourself and putting that stuff on the internet.
Bring up facts when you say something. We are more active than any other race in our kid lives.
All right, so obviously he believes the things that he's saying, and I think it's like especially a jab to white men, which obviously white men raise better children than black men statistically.
No.
Right?
If you're talking about numerically, yes. But you can't say that they raise the black fathers who raise their kids compared to white fathers who raise their kids. You can't say that they raise better quality sons. Especially, you're looking at the report when black fathers are more involved. What are you talking about? But if you're talking about numerically, yes, they have far more of a father-based culture. And that is, a trick bag that y'all participated in. Y'all helped to make it that way.
Right now in the place that we are in America. And it's just so funny because he had to bring up Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk did what he said about the statistics as far as black people committing a lot of crime. It's true. Okay. People don't want to
No,
live.
it's not true. There you go again. This is what I'm talking about. Attacking our image. You slow. You don't know what you're talking about. We are not 13% of this population. And white crimes are committed at a higher rate. I've shown the evidence numerous times. So stop with the lies, Keisha. This is what makes me sick. I can't rock. I don't rock with it. I don't understand how you black men rock with these broads when they're so against you.
True. Okay. People don't want to live in black neighborhoods because of the crime. Black people don't want to live in black neighborhoods.
Don't want to live in Keisha neighborhoods. Keisha neighborhoods. The slums. The neighborhoods where you have a concentration of single mothers on welfare. Yeah, let's get that straight. Let's not pretend as if there are not black neighborhoods that are working class. You go to many of these middle class areas, you find a lot of black people all across the country, especially black men. Over half, what is it, like 60% of black men are in the middle class. Yeah, that's where you see us populating the communities.
Because of the crime. And I just have a problem with this narrative that like this crime thing don't exist, because when I go into white neighborhoods, I feel much safer in white neighborhoods than I do in black neighborhoods. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I know everything is going to be okay. And I don't understand why saying something like that would even be controversial. But you know, when these men, they say these narratives and they push these narratives, there are going to be other men that agree. And I don't even
Are
think...
you out of your mind? Ain't nothing ever happened to you in no black neighborhood, and you know it. You ain't never been robbed. Ain't nothing ever happened to you in these hoods that you Keishas run. What are you talking about? Just because these pookies out here shooting at each other don't mean that they targeting y'all and that they making a hostile environment for Keishas. What are you talking about? And if you don't feel any sense of danger in white neighborhoods, you just expose yourself. Right? That shows how goofy y'all are. That's why you keep walking into traps.
I think these two videos are connected because it's the media that tells them these things. But let's just listen to what this guy has to say, because he's just going to take the information and not even going to question it. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
It's actually a stat that black men are the most active parents. I didn't notice until they just interviewed.
You see what I'm saying, Tariq? This was what Tariq, Black Alpha, and several of these FBA talking heads, Water God, FBA talking heads, this is what they wanted other black men to interpret it as and regurgitate it. Stop with this, with the lies. Now, I don't know if Tariq is purposely doing this. Tariq at Black Alpha, all of them, I don't know if they purpose or if they just don't understand it themselves. Making us, some of these black men might be dumb already. You making them sound dumber. Right? You're reinforcing their stupidity. That's not what the study said. I told you you're going to send black men out here sounding stupid. Let me calm down. Let's continue.
I was like, man, I feel honored to be a part of that community. My son made honor roll the other day, man. I was there. Like,
Lord. Shout out to the black fathers out there. Now let's skip ahead a little bit.
Tonight, just like moms, dads matter. And there's research to back that up.
When a dad is involved, the child's overall emotional and social well-being improves, and they also do better in school. A father's presence makes a positive difference, and that's why there's a group in Del Paso Heights working to make sure fathers have access to support and the resources they need to be present in their children's lives. ABC 10's Candace Red has more.
In the heart of Del Paso Heights stands the Center for Fathers and Families.
Fatherhood means responsibility.
The nonprofit was founded in 1994 to help fathers thrive.
There's a lot of organizations serving moms, and we believe that if fathers are served as well, everybody will benefit from it.
The center offers several programs and services like parenting classes and support groups.
Practical parenting for that parent that just needs a little extra support, especially the fathers. Co-parenting, which is the most exciting class we offer.
One of the goals is challenging the absent Black father myth. A 2013 study by the CDC shows 70% of Black fathers who live with their children were most likely to be involved in activities like bathing, dressing, and driving their children to activities compared with their white or Hispanic counterparts.
The sad thing is that
All right, so it's a CDC study. And before we even continue, guys, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the Buy Me a Coffee holiday around you.
No, bum. No, bum. Always begging for money.
But back to this whole ordeal, I think that they purposefully give Black people these stats because they know that they don't know how to read them. If you tell Black people, well, 60% of fathers that are actively in the life, they're more active. Well, 60% of fathers that live with their children, they're more active than.
Now you see, she just misquoted what she just read a few seconds ago. Again, I don't know how she just did that. Up here trying to shame people for not being able to understand what they read, and you just went on to do exactly that. All right, Keisha.
Children, they're more active, then that tells you right there where the lie is, because we know that 70% of Black women are single mothers. Okay, so they're going off of the 30% that actually live with their children, are with their children, and it's just like it does not even reflect the majority, right? It does not reflect what.
There you go, FBA talking heads. Is this what you wanted? Y'all put out that misinterpretation of this study. Did y'all put it out so that this could happen? So that you just turn around and be called out by your own stomped down, swirling FBA divesting sisters, your certified sisters? You know they hate your guts. They can't wait for you to say something stupid so they correct you. And that's exactly what happened here. This is why, again, Tariq needs men behind him. So that you're not putting yourself out here sounding dumb, setting yourself up to be debunked and corrected by slow Keishas. How in the world are you out here being corrected by slow Keisha? Lord, let me calm down. I just really don't like to see this.
It does not even reflect the majority, right? It does not reflect what is actually happening in the community. And to look
now, what she is doing, like I said before, she's trying to project this idea that 70% of Black mothers are single because those men left them. Oh, you notice how she automatically projected that 70% of single Black women as those as their fathers are not active in their kids' life. You thought you could get away with that. You thought we weren't gonna catch that. That's inaccurate as well. How you going to assume that the entire 70% of single mothers, Black women who are mothers, who are single mothers, how you going to assume that none of those fathers are involved or active in those kids' life? Now remember, being active in your kid's life is not the same as living with your kids. When you live with your kids and you're the head of the household, that is when you can officially say the father is in their life. Until then, Keishas are running the show. And they are the ones who influence and make the rules and influence the kids. But if we're talking about being active in a child's life, there are plenty of Black fathers who are active in their kids' life. Many times you'll find many situations where the kids are happier being with their father. And when they're with their mother, now they're getting yelled at. Now they're being beaten on. Now they're being mistreated when they're with her. And they can't wait to go back and spend the night at dad's or stay with dad's, go over to dad's house. In those cases, that's healthier for the child to be with a Keisha. And that's an example of those fathers being active, being involved in their kids' life. It's so pathetic. They are always trying to project this idea that the entire single black mother population, that they are all have been abandoned, that the kids' fathers are the ones who ended the relationship, that the kids' fathers are the ones who filed for divorce, that it's the fathers who didn't want to be a part of those kids' lives. This is something that these Keishas are always trying to argue and imply. You gotta stop them each and every time. And it's so sinister and evil on their part. It's such an evil, demonic tactic, man, and it makes me sick. Let's continue.
Does not reflect what is actually happening in the community, and to look at the results of what we're getting, it just gives you an excuse to blame it on somebody else, to say it's somebody else's fault. Like when you say we're educated or we take care of our children, and you know that we need to do more work on how we raise our children.
You Keishas need to do more work. Like I said before, y'all the ones that's on the hot seat, not us. We're not doing these black men need to do better lectures no more. All that is dead. It's black mothers need to do better now. We don't want to hear nothing else about old black fathers need to do better. No, y'all need to do better. We're doing just fine. Shout out R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. He proved that y'all the ones who usually leave relationships. We already knew that y'all the ones who usually leave marriages. We got that documented. Y'all file for a divorce 75% of the time. And his show and others prove that y'all the ones who usually leave relationships. Relationships where there are kids involved. You know, sometimes people have kids, but they're not married. Y'all leave those relationships most of the time too. Like I said before, you leave them for stupid reasons. Cheating. That's not a reason to break up a family. And like I said, the family, the primary purpose of a family is to benefit the kids, not you. Not you and your personal little feelings. It's not for you. Get out of this selfish mind state. Marriage is not meant to make y'all Keishas happy. It's meant to secure the future of the kids. Which is why so many black kids grow up without anything. And poor. Because y'all don't prepare for their future. And then being poor increases the chances that they be involved in criminal activity. Again, I don't want to hear nothing about these pookies because y'all create these pookies. Poverty is just one example of how y'all create these pookies. Y'all are lazy and you pass a poor work ethic down to them. That's another reason. I don't want to hear nothing about no absent father. You're not going to blame their criminal behavior on a father who is not even active and not even there in the kid's life. That's the result of you being a failed parent.
Plan is just not there. Now, I will say that when black men raise children, well, probably men in general, when they raise children, they do a better job than women. Okay, single men raise better children. It's just because they are able to provide discipline and structure, things that.
No, we do a lot more than that. We teach them. We talk to them. We actually connect with them. And there's no point in the kid's life where they start to look like their mother and we start to be resentful towards them because they're looking more like their mother. Y'all got so many little evil dynamics of how you raise kids, it don't make no sense. Now let's move forward a little bit. Here's another video where once again, you FBA talking heads being called out. Y'all being called out for y'all's misinterpretation of that CDC study. When you have a platform, you have a responsibility to be accurate with your information. When you create content, you have an advantage in getting your voice out there. You need to be accurate.
This study was never made sometimes. Like, even though I'm an actor, I really would.
And it's, she about to play in Ling Ling's hair. That is so weird. Y'all swinging and rubbing somebody else's hair.
This study was never made sometimes. Like, even though I'm an active black father and I love to see that, I really do wish that it was never created because you niggas deliberately misinterpret it or you ignorantly misinterpret it all the time. It literally is talking about the fathers who are in the home. You have to be there first to be the most active. I'm talking about the niggas that ain't there. You can't not be there.
And again, you see her laughing, calling black men niggas. She laughing about that. Again, because that's what Keisha enjoys. She enjoys degrading black men. That's the kind of home, that's the kind of environment that they create for kids. And that's what contributes to them being violent and criminal when they grow up. These mothers have the most influence on these kids' psyche. We'll get more into that later.
Not be there and still be the most active. That doesn't make sense. So basically, it would be like you telling me, man, when black men are in college, we get the best grades. We graduate at the highest clip. We graduate at the highest rate, which none of these things are true, but I'm just, hear me out. And then I said, yeah, that's true when we're actually in college. But the problem is that only 30% of us go to college. That's the argument you're making here. It's not about how involved black fathers are when we're there. It's about the lack of black fathers that are there to begin with, man.
And you see how easy it is to wag the finger at the men when you say the lack of black fathers. Oh, you niggas ain't there. As if just because you're not there in the home that you are the evil culprit who left and abandoned the family. See how easy it is to just assume that right away? Keisha takes advantage of that. Even though they're the ones who are forcing the fathers out of the kids' lives. They even have laws that strengthen their ability to do this. And y'all still constantly want to wag your stupid fingers at the fathers.
Absolutely, absolutely well put. And it's really comical to have these people, these men fall into this lie. It's just, like I said, it's the same thing with black women saying they're the most educated when they're obviously not. Okay, no one ever is like, we need to go get black women so we can figure this out. It just doesn't happen. Black women can't even run their own households. How could they be the most educated? Does that make sense to you? Black men, their children are killing each other, okay?
Did you see what she just said? Suddenly, the kids are ours now. She said black men their kids are killing each other. So in other words, she's trying to say that the reason they're involved in crime is because the fathers are not there. No, Keisha. They're involved in crime because you are failed parents. Y'all are failures as parents. That's why they're involved in criminality. You don't get to blame somebody who ain't even there. What is wrong with them? Why don't they get that? All these decades, that still hasn't gotten through their thick skull. You act like we got some special information that only we know. You know how to teach them right from wrong. The problem is that you don't teach them. You don't talk to them. You expose them to a bunch of ignorance and filth and degeneracy at the earliest ages. And when you do that, that is what has probably the greatest impact on their psyche as far as building their character. Manipulative, evil, get out of here with that. Black men and their kids are criminals. Get out of here.
Households, how could they be the most educated? Does that make sense to you? Black men, their children are killing each other, okay? They're criminals, okay? A lot of these children.
Yeah, because of y'all.
Are killing each other.
Because of y'all. Because of y'all. They lack value for their own life. They lack value for other black people's life because of y'all. Because y'all hate yourselves. You hate yourselves, and so why should they love themselves? Y'all teach them that self-hatred. Y'all pass that hatred down. How you gonna blame the absent father, a father who ain't even there, for why your kids hate other black kids? That's y'all doing that. What is wrong with you? Y'all little self-hating, grooming habits, and your outward hatred of black men, black males. Y'all do nothing but spew evil and hatred, especially when it comes to blackness. These kids, these boys, they see y'all and y'all's nonstop war on blackness itself. So they look at other people with the traits that y'all fight your entire life, that y'all ashamed of your entire life. They look down on those same people with those traits too. Y'all want to sit up here and act like you have nothing to do with their lack of value for black life. Like I said before, the earliest years are the most important. A youngster's brain is developing faster than it ever will in their life, in our life. That's why, again, we learn language, the English language, at a very young age. And we don't even remember the process we went through to learn it. Only thing we knew is that one day we was using English, speaking English. And we speaking it now. It's because we were listening to people use that language at an extremely young age when our brains had more cells than even adults. Our brains were growing at the fastest rate of all our entire lives. You pick up stuff, so your experiences also during those young ages are going to affect you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life is going to shape your character and your personality, your experiences at those very young ages. And what those black boys experience from you Keishas is hatred. You beating them nonstop. Y'all start physically beating on them, some of them before they even able to walk. You're spewing a bunch of hatred. You're beating them half to death, being abusive physically and verbally. And then you plop them in front of TV so they can watch some more anti-black filth. And again, it don't take no father to do that. You don't police the TV or the internet or none of that stuff. You know, listening to this garbage anti-black music, blow a nigga brains out, and that's being glorified, taking other black men's life. So yeah, it makes sense that they grow up with a hatred and acting out violence against other black men. It makes sense that they grow up robbing and hitting licks because y'all poor, y'all bums. The best of y'all making about $36,000 a year. And what are you doing with it? You spending money on stuff that don't nobody else spend money on. Hair. And y'all the main ones buying these nails, these long, nasty looking nails, spending hundreds of dollars. Those nails be costing hundreds of dollars to get done. And they do that every 3-4 months. Get a new wig every 3-4 months. Them wigs be $300, $800, $1,000, $2,000. These wigs be costing. You're here paying for somebody else's hair. Y'all the ones responsible for these pookies. Y'all responsible for these hood rats. We don't want to hear no more of y'all pointing the finger at other people, pointing the finger at a father who ain't even there. Hold yourselves accountable. Hold yourselves accountable. You're going to do that. And again, we ain't never sitting in the hot seat again. And black men, please stop falling for these Keishas. Stop falling for these Keishas. I know y'all desperate to find some riders. Y'all constantly on the lookout for Keishas who riding with black men. That all they have to do is say one thing positive about you, and then instantly you think they on your side. No, they're not. They are all anti-black male, and they're all seeking to be superior to you. They're all looking to degrade you, put you down, and they all treat non-black men better than you. They look at those men as genetically superior to you, and they treat those men's sperm like gold. They treat their DNA. Look at them wearing those people's DNA. They worship and glorify and idolize these people's very existence, their physical existence. You're not going to sit here and tell me, you're not going to sit here and act out all this self-hatred and pretend like you have no influence whatsoever on the kids that you produce. Like I said before, that's why in the neighborhoods where you see vast majority of Keisha's, the single households, you find a bunch of degeneracy. That's where you find the most degeneracy and crime. Why do you think that is? It is because y'all are the primary influencers in their life. It's y'all's fault. It is y'all's fault. Y'all destroying these people. Y'all destroying black America. I don't want to hear y'all stupid, pathetic excuses no more. I'm sick of it. Get out of here. This is one of the reasons why y'all also single is all get up. Because more and more black men are waking up to this BS hatred campaign, this evil campaign of y'all's. We finally waking up and we seeing the hatred and the evil and the anti-black movement for what it is. We should have been seeing it. Y'all the only group of women who has started a swirl movement where you glorifying the idea of throwing yourself at Brad and other races of men. No other group of women move like that. No other group of women has been so openly active and anti their counterpart, wage war against their counterpart. And at the same time, no other group of men has worshiped their counterpart like black men have worshiped black women. And look at how they show thanks to you. By being really more hateful to black men than are white racists. We're sick of it. We're sick of it. And y'all want to refer to this as bashing black women. You're out of your minds. Now, there's a goofy comment from Akeisha on one of the other videos. I'm going to make a different video respond to that. Like I said, these Keishas don't ever put up a strong argument. Salute everybody in the building. I will see y'all on the next live. Oh, wait, one more thing before I go. Keep in mind, around 50% of black men are single with no kids, and around 30% of black men are married. So you're talking about a small percentage of black men. Always keep that in mind. Fellas, always keep that in mind when they're talking about, oh, the fathers not in their kids' life. You're talking about a small percentage of black men. Y'all sleeping with the same men, essentially. No win.